Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Happy 2023.
Yes, happy 2023. Officially 2023.
Yeah, now we're recording it and it is also already, 2023. So that's good.
It is very exciting. Apologies for missing last week. It was a whirlwind coming home from Queensland, and it just kind of threw us out of whack, and then we went down south and we just didn't have the opportunity or the space, I suppose, to record anything.
We had the right intentions.
Yes.
Execution was lacking.
Exactly. So anyways, doesn't matter. It's in the past. It was probably good for us to have a break anyway.
Yeah, even just 1 week can help you, it's better to come here in the right mindset and actually, do a great podcast that we love than, half-assed try and slap something together. So
Exactly.
we're back, better than ever. It's going to be a big year. I already feel it. Same. Yes, it's going to be an interesting year. I have no idea where we're going to be this time,
no, neither.
next year. It's going to be wild.
Wild.
But you met our boyfriend?
Yes.
That was fun. That
was also a whirlwind of an episode.
Yeah, I think we needed a break to recover after that one. Got a couples theory. No, I'm kidding. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Good.
But anyways.
Yeah.
We did need to recover.
I needed to recover. It just spiked the adrenaline. And then just 100%. Stayed up there for a little while.
Yeah.
Needed a week to just get back to it.
Ground ourselves.
Yeah, it's been crazy also with traveling over the New Year period. And then, also wanting to get into those New Year vibes, even though, it's not New Year, New Me, but it's, still so fun to be in that time when you get to really, feel into the reset, refresh, refocus. It's really nice to do that with everyone and really embrace the new year and the clean slate kind of idea. So trying to balance that and travel, it's been a lot.
It has been a lot, and we're only just kind of settling back into routine now.
Yeah, today.
Today being the 16th of Jan, so we're halfway through the first month.
Oh, it's
and we're only just getting back into it.
Crazy. It's what I almost said to myself. I almost thought, and I'm still toying with this idea of making my New Year's the 1st of Feb. And treating that as my new year and then going till the next, because December, January is just so crazy. It's the worst time of year to do a reset, because everything is happening. And I mean, especially in Australia or the Southern Hemisphere, because not only is it Christmas and New Year's and holidays and blah, it's also summer.
Yeah.
So we have our longest holidays right now. This is when people travel and have time off work and school and everything. So it's it's our slow months are very much the middle of the year.
Yeah, if you're not going to Europe.
Well, yeah. Then maybe May or September.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy time and everything's so busy and everyone is just trying to get it done. And I don't know, I really don't want to miss that time to plan and that time to set my quarterly goals and everything, which I have done. But I think I need to just reread them and marinate in them,
I need to as well.
I did that. I used my new planner. Ooh.
Get on it, guys.
Link in bio. But no, I've really tried to I did them, but yeah, it's when you do it, you always forget. It's something you need to revisit as well. Vision boards are great,
Yeah, I find that because we've been away so much and I've always been around people, I've set my goals, but I didn't set them in my own space, in my own time. I didn't feel like it. I felt crowded, and that's not a vibe for me. I'm very much a goal setter on my own and need to think it out and be on my own and in my own space to do it. And I just didn't get that, so I can't fully sit in those yet.
Yeah, I totally get that, because even if people aren't, you're not talking to them about your goals and you're doing it by yourself, and people are there, it's still crowds your mind and your space, and you're still I'm still influenced, because I'm doing my goals and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what if that person sees what I'm writing and they think it's silly? So I'm already playing small.
Exactly.
You know, and like that's not, like goal setting is not the time to play small or like vision boarding. That is the time to play big, to put out all your crazy dreams, which is why it's like sometimes hard to share, because if we were all completely honest about what we want, it probably would look 10 times crazier than your vision board, but we are told to be like realistic, which I think is so silly, because none of us know what would happen in the next hour, let alone the next year or the next 5 years. So it's like, so goal setting, I think, in your own time is definitely, like, I agree, I have to do that, you know, and like journal and just really like sink into it when I know that nobody's watching.
So if anyone else feels like that, you're not alone.
And it's not too late, you know, it's still January, even though like it doesn't even matter what time of the year it is, but you know, don't feel like it's too late. Like, let's get into it, let's goal plan and make a vision board. I love vision boards.
Yeah, I really need to make a new one. I'm quite excited to as well.
I make them all the time.
I think that's good though, keeping it fresh. Like what's because your priorities always change.
Yeah, and I think like if you look at the same thing, like it's great, but for me it gets a bit stale, and then I look at it without even looking when I'm so used to it. Something I've recently started doing on my vision boards is, because like I used to try and find the specific picture of what I wanted, and sometimes that's hard because it's more abstract or you can't. So I'll put the pictures in to symbolize like what it means to me, and then I write in text, because I always do mine like on Canva or on my planner, like digitally, but then I'll write in like text over the top what that vision is, like what that goal is. So like when I see it, it's not just like an arbitrary picture, but I read it too. So I like that too.
That's cool. I vibe that.
Anyway, it's not what we're talking about today.
No, not at all.
Today we wanted to chat the lucky girl trend.
Yes, and when Jess suggested the idea, I was like, lol, what's that? The fact that I just said lol shows my age. But anyway.
Millennial.
Anyway, she gave me a quick brief rundown, which I'd actually seen. So I did know what it was. I just didn't know the name of what she'd called it, which is what? The lucky girl trend. So I had seen it a couple of times. I must say, though, my For You page on TikTok isn't full of it.
I've seen a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people talking about how everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, oh, this thing went viral, and like people talk about it, and I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Because things can go viral and you can just like have no idea if it's not on your For You page.
100%, like me.
Yeah, so we should give a quick rundown.
I think so, yeah.
So based on my understanding and how I told Danny and she agreed, the lucky girl trend is, there was a couple of videos that blew up on TikTok where people were talking about, like, if you're gonna say one affirmation to yourself, say this one, and it's, wow, I'm so lucky. I cannot believe how things just always work out for me, and it just seems so crazy that they always work out for me, but I'm just like, I just must be so lucky because like every single thing has always worked out for me, and yeah, I just must be lucky. And it's just sort of saying that to the point where you believe it, and people go on there and say crazy stories. They say, oh my gosh, I started saying this to myself and the next day I got a promotion, or I got a scratchy ticket and won $5,000. I don't know, it's like crazy. People will say all sorts of stuff, and I don't know, could be true, could be not true, I don't know, but I do think there's merit in this idea.
Yes.
And a lot of people have now jumped on the trend talking about like I saw this one TikTok and it was like, this is the best trend and the most healthy trend to have hit TikTok. And another person talking about the neuroscience of what happens when you do that, and you can look all these videos up. You just, you know, they're all on TikTok. Just search lucky girl trends and you'll be bombarded with information.
And your For You page will be full of it.
Yes, exactly. Which is, I guess, not a bad thing. But
no.
I guess the premise of it is, when you believe that you are so lucky that like, and everything just like always works out for you, you don't sweat the small stuff anymore. And you, even things that maybe before you had this mindset that maybe would have thrown you off, it's like, well, I'm so lucky that somehow this is going to work out and I don't know how. And it gives you faith in the fact that like, well, everything's worked out before, And so everything will continue to work out, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's interesting. So I've been trying to do this for probably like over a month now. And I saw a TikTok on this ages ago, like 8 months ago, like so long ago, before it blew up. And then I tried it then and like, I sort of dropped it. But I've been trying to sort of say this to myself probably for over a month. And it is hard. Like, I'm actually finding it like a little bit challenging to believe almost, and I think, so I sort of wanted to maybe talk about some things that have helped me actually believe this, because I sort of struggled a little bit at the beginning and I'm getting a bit more into my groove now. But saying it how I did just then really convincingly is very helpful.
Yes.
Not just thinking, I'm so lucky, everything works out for me. Like that, you don't believe it because there's no emotion behind it. So it is very much like a sort of fake it till you make it type thing. And another thing, if you actually think back to things that have worked out for you and then think of those things when you say this, that can help because it's like reinforcement.
Yeah.
Do you have do you want to say anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
You keep rolling.
Well, it's really good to have that positive reinforcement and to like it makes it more believable, because your brain does not know the difference between thoughts and reality, like what you think is your reality, because like everything in your brain is just a thought. So if you believe something is truth, that's true for you, that is the truth for you. But you can change that whenever you want, and that doesn't make it easy.
No.
But I guess the first step is, even when you feel silly being like, oh, I'm so lucky, just do it anyway. I don't know, the small things, like you get more used to saying it, you get more comfortable saying it to yourself, and then it becomes believable to the point like you probably won't even realize, and then at some point you'll just believe it. It's like reshaping your limiting beliefs almost, and instead of thinking, oh, why does this always happen to me, or like, like this is so annoying, like I wish it was different, like all that kind of stuff is wasted energy. But if you trust exactly what's happening, then your energy is being put to helping you get to where you want to go, not dwelling on where you don't want to be.
Yeah, I guess maybe, and look, I could be completely off here, a bit of a real basic example is like you get stuck in traffic going somewhere, right? But then when you get there, you get a park immediately. You know what I mean?
You're so lucky.
Exactly.
Everything works out for you.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think, it's like what Jess said, it's even the smallest things. Like you don't sweat the small stuff anymore. It's like, yeah, I'm stuck in traffic, but everything works out.
Yeah, my favorite song just came on.
Yeah.
What a coinkydink when it's on my Spotify playlist.
The sun's shining, or
yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is, like you see a rainbow, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, but just, appreciating the small moments that in most of the time you overlook.
Yeah, and like when you dwell on the traffic bit, you're not inviting the universe to like give you what it was planning to give you, like the working out bit, the good bit. And also it just makes you happy even if you don't believe in that, if you don't believe in the universe, just thinking like, oh, it's all going to work out for me, because it always does. It's still just a nice thing to believe.
100%. And you know what? You don't know. You may get there and not get the park. I don't know.
But, like...
Maybe bump into a friend or like, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I think that's the most important premise of this, is that it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're just so lucky. Yeah, you can't be like probably walking around life thinking, oh, this lucky girl trend is all crap because I didn't get my park, like Danny said, and I was in traffic and I didn't get the park. No. But it's like once you've adopted the mindset, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Because you're like, well, I'm so lucky. Like, and I guess when you also on that, like in those small moments, you can appreciate and be like, wow, I'm so lucky I got that park. Like, I can't believe it. And if you don't, it's because you know and you trust that there's bigger things for you than the park. It didn't matter because you're so lucky that there's other things happening for you behind the scenes. And sometimes it's one of those things where like, in hindsight, you can see it. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. And I think this is a way to train yourself to sort of, to appreciate what you would in hindsight before you get the hindsight. Yeah. Because life is just so miserable when all you think is like, oh, like this sucks and
nothing's happens for me, and like, why wouldn't you choose to believe something like that everything does happen for you? Like, why?
Yeah.
It makes it so much better.
100%. I think, all right, I'm going to be critical on this as well at the same time, because that's just who I am.
Love that.
But I really struggle with the whole lucky principle. Like, I do think luck is a thing, a part of it. And I'm not saying that this trend doesn't work, and I'm not saying that it's not a really good affirmation. I just think that I don't want people to get caught up in the, oh, she's so lucky, like that's how she got there, when realistically it was a lot of hard work and dedication and a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you didn't see. That's where I get stuck with this sort of stuff, because people would, you look at some people and you're like, man, she's so lucky, and luck could be attributed to it, but luck can also be attributed to hard work, timing, like your exposure, consistency, dedication, like blood, sweat and tears. Like, what looks like lucky on the outside to you, for someone is maybe not just luck, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be like down on this whole trend, but I just I don't want people to discount their hard work and just be like, oh man, it's just because I'm not lucky. And it doesn't always work like that in some respects.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I think for me, like, it's like, I hear that, and I think, well, for me it was always like, you're putting in the work, but luck is just having the work, like having that timing happen, or having that opportunity happen. And I guess, like, for some people it might be, for you it might not work as much to think like this, because you're like, I'm working damn hard and I'm just going to keep working hard. But for some people, like for me, it's a little bit beneficial to think, okay, like, I'm working really hard, and when it doesn't pay off because the timing hasn't worked out, if I think like, oh, like, if I don't believe that I'm lucky and like good things always happen to me and things always work out, it makes it harder for me to keep working, because it's like, it makes it, so if I believe that I'm lucky and I believe that everything always works out for me, even though I don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, if I keep working hard, it will happen. And then it helps me to keep working hard and getting there. But I mean, you're completely right. Like, you look at someone, you go, they're so lucky, and you've like a tiny smidgen of their story, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And like, we live in such a comparative culture with social media, so it can get super toxic when you're just like, oh, like, they're so lucky.
And maybe that's the thing with this trend, is the fact that the statement isn't just I'm so lucky, it's the rest of it. Everything always works out for me, which is something that I do believe is like framing everything in a positive mindset. And even like, like the everything happens for a reason sort of thing, like that saying. But I think that everything always happens for me is a lot more positive. Yeah, because it's making you pick the positive out of every situation.
Yeah, and it does like make your mindset the center of it, rather than being like, everything happens for a reason, but it's not for me, it's for someone else's reason.
And it's out of my control and blah blah blah. Like,
like looking how to make every situation work for you. And I think exactly,
which is probably the important thing. So rather than like in my situation getting caught up on the lucky part, like that's an important part, because you're not just going to say,
I mean, you can
just say everything works out for me, but I think the momentum comes from the I'm so lucky part first.
Yeah, I think it's like because when you say like everything happens for me and life happens for me and everything just works out for me, my next question is why? Yeah, exactly. Which is like, I must just be so lucky. Like, and it's also like, for me, like in saying that, like, it's not, wow, I'm so lucky I don't have to try. It's really appreciating, like, I'm so lucky with everything that I have and like the life that I've been given. So I mean, it's more of like a gratitude thing.
It is,
than like not having to like, oh, I'm like, but yeah, it is.
It's a combination of gratitude and affirmations.
Yeah, and like optimism and like changing your mindset to be positive. Because I mean, if I was going through life, and I've done this before, and like, it's so much harder to chase your dreams when you're like, oh, like, will this work out? Whereas if you believe that it will work out, right, like, you have the fire and the burn and the passion and the resilience to actually keep going when you get knocked back, because you know it's going to pay off, and you know it's going to work out for you, and you know it's all going to be worth it, and you don't have to worry about wasting all your energy, because it always works out. But if you believed that you know, you don't know if it's going to work out for you, and you put the same amount of work and the same amount of this and the same amount of that, your life could turn out exactly the same. The journey just might be harder, or like, I think it's much easier to stick at that path and put in the work that you need to get what you want if you believe it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, I vibe that.
And all these people are on TikTok saying how great since they've started saying it. And I mean, that's why I'm like, I want to get some of that.
100%.
And I think the whole vibe is that, like, there's enough for everyone. Like, it is not like
it's an abundance mindset.
Yeah, you know, like, everyone gets to be this lucky and everyone gets to have life happen for them, as long as you just, you know, believe it and, you know, live it, because it does, like, make life so much better.
Yep. I back that. I think we've covered off this trend.
Yeah, I think that's a great little discussion.
Yeah. Well, we encourage you, if this vibes with you, give it a go.
Yeah.
Why not?
Definitely.
What have you got to lose?
Just start saying it to yourself.
Yeah.
Not going to do anything harmful.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. So, yeah, give it a shot. Look, I'll even give it a shot.
And, you know, make it work for you. If you don't like the lucky part, just believe that everything happens for you and life happens for you, and, like, everything is working out for your benefit in your own life. And then
see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. I'm excited. I'm going to use this affirmation, like, pretty, like, consistently, I think, hopefully through this year, and see, because I think you do need to give things time. So,
yes.
And see how it changes my brain chemistry.
Whoop, whoop.
Well, thank you for joining us and for sticking with us on our 3rd year podcasting.
Going into it, aren't we?
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
We appreciate you, and I mean, it's so cool to look and see all our listeners from all over the world every week. So thank you for joining us, and for everyone that's in Australia, we love you as well.
Definitely. And if you're new here, thanks for checking us out. We hope you stick around.
Yes, we hope you stick around, because it is a great place to be. So cringy.
We are cringy.
Anyway, I guess we'll chat with you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening in.
There's absolutely no pressure to do this, but if you're happy to share the podcast with your friends or on your socials and tag us at Pierced Off Pod, that would be amazing.
You can also leave us a stellar 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on if you're feeling extra motivated today. It really does help us out so much, but ultimately, we are just beyond grateful that you're here.
You are also more than welcome to come and hang out with us on our other socials. All of our links are in the description.